Jam on toast!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Jam. I'm Cameron, and today the toast is Blue Valentine. This is a Sourcefed movie club review, and it's always good to check out new things that you haven't heard of, and it's a great thing to go into a movie with not knowing what it's about at all. Just keep that in mind. The short sale on this one is that it's a realistic account of a 10-year marriage between a man and a woman who have a kid together, and the troubles that accumulate after 10 years of such a thing. My love it is the quote he gives when he's talking to the other moving guy. It goes something like, I feel like men are more romantic than women. When we get married, we marry like one girl. Because we're resistant the whole way until we meet one girl and we're like, man, I'd be an idiot if I didn't marry this one. But it seems like girls get to a place where they just sort of pick the best option. I mean, they spend their whole lives looking for Prince Charming, and then they pick the guy who's got a good job and who's going to stick around. In my world, that's called a relationship of convenience. Or opportunity, depending on the people involved. My hate for this one is actually Cindy, the female character. It's a bad person in a worse scenario, and I'm not saying like she deserved any of it. I'm just saying I'm not a fan. The MVP for this one is without a doubt Ryan Gosling. They did the weird thing when they give him a mustache and try to make him look less appealing and more of an average guy. But I don't know if it was the character or a combination of that and his acting skills, but he just shines through on this one. He nails the part perfectly. He makes the guy typically likable and pretty much noble in most respects. Let's move on to the categories. Aesthetics. It looks decent. It's a standard modern day movie. It's meant to look like it does. It just doesn't wow you. What it does do is put that gritty effect on there to make it seem like it's darker and more dramatic than it is. And I don't like that technique anymore. I understand it. It's right for the part of the movies that it's used on, but I just don't care. It makes it look like it's a less quality film when it's obviously a high value production film, and I'm just kind of over it. Aesthetics gets an 80. Character development. It is really hard to get into a character and learn more about them and to grow with them if you get thrown in with no context and they build up a whole scenario and then they go back and give you the context later. Or maybe it's just me, it's not how my brain works for these sort of things. And I can't really see that being the case where they needed to give us information at a certain time. There's not much of a purpose to it. Character development gets a 60. Storyline. When filmmakers cut it up, it's usually to structure it so that you build up to more emotional scenes. And in this movie, I don't think that's the case. I think it's just told out of order to make it not look like a documentary, because it's a very realistic portrayal. You could probably go down the street and meet these people. And the most dramatic scene of the movie is towards the end. I don't understand trying to mix those up and change the pace of the story at all. Storyline gets a 60. Compulsion. I gotta be honest, I was kind of bored for a lot of this. Every time I went to a flashback, it took me out of it. I couldn't figure out if we were in a flashback or if we were in the modern time stream or what, and it really hurt my interest in the movie. I probably could have turned this off at any point and been okay with it and not gone back and finished it later, but I'm glad I finished it. Compulsion gets a 40. Now, if you total everything up, we get an average of 60. Fortunately, that kind of makes this a failure to me, but I'm just one guy. For my wrap-up review, I gotta say this is a deep, heart-wrenching movie that just isn't that interesting. The movie feels very biased towards Dean, the main male protagonist, but I don't like being stared that way. I'd rather come to it on my own. Ultimately, I don't recommend this movie unless you just want a good cry over fictional characters' problems that might be happening in the real world today. That's all I got for you today. I'm Cameron. Have a nice day.